Test 1, 2. Am I getting sound? Almost ready to start this live stream. We have sound. Thank you very much, Mahina. And it's just gone 4:30. Excellent, excellent. It's just getting a little bit cold out here now. It's been a stunning day, and my iPhone camera is not working to be able to show you this for some reason. I'll just get that right. There we go. That's what we're sailing away from at the moment. That's Miet in the background, and we've just been swimming, which was great. We've got Aquila and Dawn on board as well. They also went swimming. I think I peer pressured them into it, but but they enjoyed it all the same. So it was the Karstella Swim Club on Yacht edition. So welcome to today's live stream. My name's Nick. I'm from 45 Degree Sailing. If you haven't been on before, thank you for coming. If you have, thank you for coming back. And today's topic is, I know what today's topic is. It's deposit insurance. And oh my God, my brain's just completely gone. I'm going to have to read my straight out of the note what the title of this is. Croatia Yacht Charter. So this is chartering in Croatia, part 2, deposits and insurance. That's what I was going for. I'm blown away by the sunset. It's the sunset that's doing it. So yeah, we're going to talk about deposits and insurance when you are chartering a yacht here in Croatia. Pretty standard format to our live streams like normal. If you've got questions, please throw them up in the comments and the questions there. And thank you, Gavin. Yes, the sceneries in the background are getting better every week. Yeah, this is even better than our last one, isn't it? It's still bright. I've got my light here ready to go, but I don't need it. The moon is probably going to keep me lit in this one. So it's yeah, it's stunning, absolutely stunning. The annoying part is this is the best wind we've had all day, and it's coming up right as we're heading into an anchorage. So oh well, I can't have it all. But excellent, good to be here. So we're going to talk about deposits and deposit insurance. These options when you're chartering a yacht here in Croatia. Some not do's and don'ts of that, but just how the process goes and what to expect when you come to the charter company, and also what it covers. All right. Well, whether or not it covers. Yeah. So I'm going to get into that anyway in a moment. So throw your questions down if you want them. I've got a couple of questions from previous live streams that I'll answer at the end. And yeah, let's pretty much get into it. So. The security deposit. The security deposit is the amount. I've just had waves called. I've got a ferry. Ferry's just gone past me yet. I've got to hold my laptop because of the waves. Oh, it's not too bad. Not too bad. This is actually a gap I had to sail through. Mahina, remember this? We broke our steering out here in 2016. And whoa. We broke our steering cable. And we were sailing so balanced that we didn't even notice it. And then we had to sail through this gap and into the anchorage we're looking at tonight under autopilot and emergency tiller. So until I could fix it with duct tape, basically. So anyway, moving. Oh, there they are. The last few off the back of the catamaran of the ferry. Okay, I'm good. I'm good. Okay, cool. So security deposit is the amount, when you charter a boat, is the amount with which you are liable for any damage, okay, as a consequence of mishandling the boat or anything that occurs while chartering the boat. And it usually corresponds to the excess value of a casco policy in the amount of about 0.5 to 1% of the vessel value. Okay, so your security deposit is pretty much directly in relation to that. And yet, even if the value of that boat is down lower, you don't really get away with anything less than a €1,500 security deposit on a smaller boat. Just checking my audio's all right here. My microphone's here. If I'm turning away, I must be missing it. So I'll get that one there. Anyway, so all of the boats are usually fully insured with casco. Not everything's casco, but this is the example I'm using. But the security deposit still has to be left in the starting marina by cash or by credit card. Okay, so the security deposit will be refunded in its full amount. Excuse me, I've got Red Bull burps. Unless damage or defect on the yacht, it's the equipment. Remember, it's also the equipment is found upon returning the yacht. So please note that the amount of the security deposit is the maximum amount which you would be charged for any damages. Okay, everything that exceeds that amount will be covered from the insurance company. So it is an insured thing. Okay, so in case of thefts on the boat, and it's usually the outboard engine or the dinghy, we'll come to that. I've got a story about that later, of boat inventory that are in most cases the object of theft. So please don't forget to report it to the nearest police station. And I'll cover that too. So what we're going to talk about here is the two options that you now have when chartering here in Croatia or all over the place, because they've got the security deposit and this deposit insurance. Okay, so first of all, the security deposit. How often have you damaged your yacht and charter? I'll answer that soon. Someone remind me when to soon about that, but I'll get through this one. How much are you liable for if you cause any damage to? So your security deposit is how much you're liable for. All right. Now, when you pay, so when you check into your yacht and you do all the paperwork at the charter office before you get on board, is you'll have to leave this security deposit. Now, that'll either be by cash, and in Croatia, it's in euros now. Remember, it was in kuna, so there's thousands and thousands of kuna floating around. It's either in cash or in a credit card authorization hold on your card with the charter office. Right, and if nothing else is damaged or lost, money will be refunded to you in full, or the credit card hold will drop off in a day or two. Now, they do this interesting envelope system in some charter companies. So just if you see this, don't be too alarmed. Well, not alarmed. I don't know why you would be, but they'll often do the security for. They'll fill out a form. And you'll write all of your details on there. It'll have the boat. It'll state the amount in which you are giving permission for to be held on your credit card, or state the amount in cash that you've put down. And then that chit, if it's an authorization chit for the credit card, will then go in there as well. And then they put it in an envelope, fold it up, put it in an envelope and seal it. And then you sign over top of the break in the envelope. I think they're just trying to show you that they're putting it away for it's, I don't know. I'd be quite happy if it just went into a file, but yeah. So if you see that happen, that's why. So they do it with cash as well. So it's like, hey, this means we haven't broken the seal on this since you got back, or whatever it was. And so remember that that credit card, you'll get the cash straight back, of course, but the credit card authorization will take a little longer to drop off, especially if you're doing it on a Saturday and credit cards and things like that. So the other system, okay, deposit insurance. Now this is newer to us. I mean, to be honest, I've only used this for myself once, actually. I'm still quite happy to go out using a security deposit. I'm confident that I'm not going to break anything or anything. I also hold a separate skipper's insurance, which I can talk about in another live stream. But effectively, this is a relatively new thing in the last couple of years. So deposit insurance, this is not the same thing as leaving a security deposit. And this often is referred to as deposit waiver insurance or deposit security. They call it a number of different things. But effectively, what this is this is a policy that you buy through the charter company with an insurance company. Okay, so the charter company is effectively operating as an agency, and they're going to say, hey, do you want to take out this policy? And then you're buying 7 days of policy, or 14, or whatever it is. You're buying the policy to protect your security deposit. So that could look like the following. You pay for the policy cost. This is non-refundable. So say that's 300 euros, right? Plus you'll then pay a deposit, again, potentially refundable, hopefully refundable. You'll pay a deposit. So say you pay 300 and 300. Okay, 300 you're not getting back. if you've now paid 600 euros, now you can go out for your week and whatever damage might happen, whatever equipment gets lost, you lost a paddle for the dinghy or you threw the outboard engine in the ocean, whatever it was, come back and they'll say, okay, you've caused 1,000 euros worth of damage, whatever it is, you'll now lose your 300 deposit. So your policy covers your security deposit, which was 3,000 or whatever it was. So you no longer will be liable for as much money. So if I really like this system for two main reasons. For two main groups of people. One, if you are taking a yacht with a bunch of friends, you're splitting the cost, and you go out, and then if something gets damaged on the boat, it's like who is liable for this? Like, okay, well, this cost $1,000 because we broke something in the kitchen or whatever it might have happened. This reduces the amount of arguments you have. All right, just say to all of you, 600 euros is part of the cost. You might get 300 back. Cool. No arguments there, as opposed to, okay, no, you've got to cover this 2,000 or whatever it is. The other one is if you're learning and you are going out and doing a bit of training and going, okay, well, I'm still learning. It's a possibility that I might pick up something in my bow thruster, or I could hit the dock when I reverse in, whatever that might be. Wrap a prop from the dinghy, whatever that might be. You're giving yourself a much better buffer and more space to make a mistake effectively without so much to go wrong. So those are our two types of policies. Now, please note, not all charter companies here in Croatia offer deposit insurance. They don't all necessarily do it. So just be aware of that and have a look on your charter agreement or talk to your agent or charter company before you book your charter to make sure that that's an option if you want that option. Another thing I noticed this year, I was in the office of one of the charter companies. I saw a Yacht Week skipper come in with the crew, or whatever. The skipper came in and said, I'd like to do the deposit insurance, and they didn't allow it. They actively did not allow Yacht Week to take out the deposit insurance. I won't speak to as exactly why or whatever it is, but I saw that happen in front of my eyes and I was like, interesting, smart and interesting. So that's one to consider there. They have the authority to change or decide not or whatever it is. Okay, cool. So I've got a little bit here to talk about, just about theft and things like that. And then I've got a few questions coming up, so I'll do those in a second. So just to cover, if you have a theft on board during your charter, all right, most commonly, this is the dinghy engine, as I say, or the dinghy or the outboard engine, okay? Did I use the engine as well? I lost a dinghy in the Caribbean. Yeah, I did. I lost a dinghy. I think I must have lost the engine as well, but I lost the entire thing. It was stolen from the back of the boat. I didn't put it up on deck and I didn't have it locked. It was right there by my cabin tied up and it got stolen and it was gone. All right, so it's the most common thing to go. I don't hear about dinghies getting stolen very often here in Croatia, but I can personally attest to it being stolen in the Caribbean that time. I think we were in the Grenadines at the time. Anyway, but make sure you report this to the nearest police station, okay? You're not going to get anywhere coming back with a, hey, it's been stolen or whatever like this, unless you report that straight away. So go ASAP, and you must get a written report and notify your charter company straight away, okay? Whatever can be claimed is going to depend on the insurance policy, etc., the charter company. Effectively, that could come out of the fact that, okay, damage to your boat, you lost the dinghy. That's damage to the dinghy. So that could be security deposit amount 3,000 or whatever it was. So make sure you get a written report. You must have a written report for that if you're not going to bring something back. Get a police report. So that's a few things there. Coming in with a few questions now. How often have you damaged a yacht in charter? I have damaged a yacht in charter 2 times that I know of. I'm just trying to remember if there's others. So the first time was on Lastovo Island, and I came in on a 25 knot day into a very narrow gap and I had to reverse in quite fast with the wind on my bow, and I came in and something happened. The life ring on the side of the popped up, and then a little bit bent out, and it just rubbed against the catamaran that was next to me. It was an ultra sailing catamaran, and I settled that. There's no damage to my boat. He happened to be the owner of that boat. It was in charter, but he was the owner of it. I settled it with him, cash on the. I'd like him 200 euros, whatever it was, because it needed a little bit of buffing and something gel coat work or whatever it was. So that was one time I damaged it. Another time I was doing training with someone. And so I was the skipper of the boat, so I was liable as far as anyone should be concerned. It was my name on it. And while he was training, he caught my fault. We caught part of a lazy line into the bow thruster. So it didn't actually jam or do anything. We didn't even notice it at the time. I did notice it, and I was like, oh, what went wrong there? Just stop. I went up, I checked, the line was clear, okay. But it turns out we'd broken one of the blades off the bow thruster propeller. Now, when I think there's a question, I think, what is the most common on yachts in charter? Bow thruster propellers are the most common thing to break. And that means you need to replace then. They've got two propellers down there, one turning for thrusting this way, one turning for the other way. And you've got to replace that whole prop. They're designed to be kind of sacrificial. They're designed to break easily if a rope gets in, so it doesn't burn or smash the engine. So they're the most common. And effectively, that cost is about, you've got to pay the diver to go in. You can't do it yourself. In the marina, you're not allowed to. So the diver fee's like 150 euros and the parts like 100 euros. So call it 250, 300 euros for a bow thruster prop on a 45-foot boat. 2 years ago when I did that one. That's probably what I'd say is the most common. Just talking to my crew. We can go through that gap there if you want, guys, or you can go around. Up to you. Yeah. So that's the most common. Then after that, it would be small gel coat damages on the stern or on the bow. Swinging anchors, swinging into the bow is often something people smash, which is a real shame. And then gel coat damage on the back from being too close to the dock or not being prepared at the back. And got me thinking about that one. Ripped sails aren't actually that common. It's not many people sail that much. So yeah, I'd probably say that. That's most common on charter yachts. 3 times damaged a boat. So the third one was actually last season on a Lagoon 500. Was out with clients, and we were in we're on Vis in Croatia, and Croatia we picked up a mooring. They don't have a limit to the boats, the size of the boats they put on moorings there, and we were on one that didn't have anyone behind it, close by the breakwater, and then this big, it's pretty big, it's probably 60 feet, 55-foot power yacht came in and picked up a mooring, all in their rights, picked up a mooring in front of us. That's all fine. What the problem was is there was a little bit of a wave coming in, and it went really calm, no wind. So we're all moving around like this and moving around. And in the middle of the night, our two sterns came together, and his ladder system, something came up, and it gave us a gel coat chip on our stern. And then I was awake from 3 a.m. because we couldn't. It just kept on coming around, so I'd keep turning engines on and things. So that was another time I damaged it, which was a real shame. And that was the thing. That was an interesting one because and I wanted to get onto this point afterwards as well. When you do damage something, if you do damage something, or you might not damage it, something breaks on a charter yacht, call the charter company immediately, please. Please, you know how you want to get on the boat as fast as you can on Saturday? Well, they're doing the best they can for you. Now, what happens is they have yachts show up on Friday that have broken something that's a little bit hard to get on order. Whatever, they might have broken their vang or something like this. They've broken that, but they haven't told anyone. And so now the charter company has to come up with that part from Friday night through Saturday morning. And that's really tough. Whereas if you've called them on Wednesday or Tuesday or whatever it is, well, that's great. When you've broken it, then they can say, okay, cool, thank you, I'll put it on order. Maybe they'll come out and fix it on the spot through the week, or they'll say thank you for that, and we'll order that, and then we'll have it there on Friday. So much easier. So much easier. So please just let them know. And I mean, if you're going to get into a negotiation or a talk about, you know, oh, how much is this going to cost me, stuff like that, then you're so much better off if you've been open and communicated with them. All right. So please do that. Questions here. So do you have to pay the 3,000 euros security deposit and then the 600 euros on the deposit insurance when your charter begins? And then no. Okay, so you either pay one or the other. The whole idea of the deposit insurance or the deposit waiver is that instead of having to lay out $3,000 and put it on your credit card or give the cash, you purchase a policy which covers your deposit. It's like covering the insurance excess. So you'll put down that 600, buy the policy for 300 per se, and then another 300 for that deposit, and then that's what all you're going to put down. So that's the maximum amount that it's going to cost you if you park the boat on a reef. That and whatever relocation fee you're going to have to cost for yourself. So yeah, to answer that one. Blair, how does it work with damage to crockery and glassware? If I was to fall out of a cabinet, oh, if it was, I was like, Blair, what are you doing in a cabinet? Whilst heeling over. Okay, this one, I've got experience with this one too. We had a whole cabinet open up. It was an above, it was a Hansa 455, and it was above the galley, and it had all of the plates in it. And that opened up while we were having a hell of a great time sailing, starboard tack, and opened up and just all smashed down on the floor. Now, it was closed properly. The clip was pushed in, and when I got back to the charter company, which we used many times, I said to them, hey, look, that clip, it just gave way. It was closed because we'd been tacking, then it gave way. They said, look, we get it, that's okay. They didn't charge me for that crockery. I've quite often had guests break a wine glass, a tumbler, you know, on the trip. I have not been charged for these. That's not to say you won't be charged. That's not to say, but I mean, if you're breaking 5 glasses, yeah, you're probably going to get charged for this because you're being a bit dumb. But it varies with charter companies. So and your relationship with charter companies. Those experiences I'm having there could well be because I've been with that charter company a lot of times, and they're like, okay, well, you know, it's Nick. We know he's not being a muppet and just trying to smash stuff. Whereas a first-time client comes back with 2 broken glasses, 3 broken plates, scratches on the side of the boat, they're going to be like, this person is mistreating our boat. They're not caring for our stuff, so we're gonna do that. Yeah, so that is, as we say, that varies from charter company to charter company. Gavin, I lost battens from the main twice while hoisting the sail. Always make sure the screw problem. Yes, that is 100% right. And so a lot of stuff is coming out furling mainsails now, so you don't have to worry about battens as such. But yes, when you first hoist your main, check all those battens are there. All right. When you do your checkout at the charter company, check all of the battens are there, because I've also had situations where I raise my main and go, there's no batten in there. And it could have shaken out on the last charter, but no one noticed it, or the checkout didn't notice it. Now they might come back and charge you for it. So yeah, that's a big thing. And now that I hear the batten thing, it makes me think of another damage that commonly happens. But so that for those of you not necessarily aware, in your mainsail, in a traditional mainsail, we have horizontal battens that go up the sail, and they're secured by usually a Velcro strap in, and then and that holds the batten end in. Now, if that Velcro is a little bit loose or anything, and you put your main up in a flappy, shaky environment, a windy environment, then sometimes they can pop out, and then with more shaking, they'll just fly out and they're gone. So especially with short battens, it's usually the top one of the top 3. Full battened mains, not so much. So be wary of those, and it's another thing to check when you check in on your yacht. are the battens in there. It's just another part to check on the yacht. So for sure. And the other common thing people do on catamarans and fully battened mainsails with lazy bags is break lazy lines. So as the sail comes up and down, we've got a bag that it all sits into on a non-racing yacht, and it all drops down into that bag, and then it raises up out of there. But it's got a series of lines, uppers and lowers, called jack lines, jack stays. No, I'm confusing myself with the word jack now. My father used to call me Jack, so now I'm really messed up. Anyway, there's lines there. That when you raise the sail, if the wind is off at one side, it can hook under one of those lines, and you keep lifting it, especially those with electric winches do this, and keep pulling, either break the lines or break the batten. And if you break the batten, it usually pokes through the sail, and now you're not too well off. Be very careful of that one as well when raising your sail. Make sure you've got plenty of space, go nice and slow. And if you're motoring at 7 knots into the wind, you're increasing your wind by another 7 knots. So if you've got control, maybe just slow down. That'll help you out as well. All right, I've got another question here from Almero. When is the best time to book charter for the week in summer in Croatia? Where is the easiest port and part to try for beginner? And which sailboats should we avoid booking? Thank you. All right, cool. When is the best time to book your charter for the week in summer in Croatia? Last month. Last month, we take a lot of bookings for bareboat charter around October, November, December, because that's when you can really choose what boat you like, because the booking lists are still available. There's often early booking or New Year's, Christmas discounts, so you might get up to 20% discounts. I've just heard the reception just went weird. Tell me if I'm back on now, someone, and where and what I've missed out. I'll just make sure this is back on before I keep talking. Am I back on? All good from hashtag, thank you. All right, cool. Yeah, we are in amongst a bit of stuff. And the sun's definitely on its way out now. It's beautiful. We're heading into Szczepanska Luka, close to Dubrovnik. Anyway, so when is the best time to book? Last month, yeah, but any time from now, I definitely wouldn't leave it later than January. So if you're looking for a yacht, get in touch with us, and we can help you find the right one for you. As you get closer, everyone says, "Oh, what if I wait for last minute discounts?" Yes, you can for sure. But the choice of yacht and dates is going to get drastically diminished. So be careful of that. Thanks, Gavin. I'm on. Excellent. So that was, I say, best time to book is, well, now the best time to book is now. So get in touch with us now, and we'll start looking for a boat for you. Where is the easiest port and part to try for beginner? Okay. Depends where you're coming from in a number of ways. If you're flying in, often people are flying into Split Airport. So the area around Trogir, Karstella, and Split is good. Very big, large amount of boats there, good marinas, things like that. And the sailing area out of there is quite, I want to say, forgiving, in the sense that there's a lot of ports. And because there's a lot of ports, that makes it a little bit easier to find somewhere to go, for sure. The time I would suggest booking, I'm not sure you asked that, but I'll answer that anyway, would be, if it's a beginner, don't do it in peak. I would not suggest doing it in peak. May is a brilliant month to sail here. The wind is really good. The water's already starting to warm up. It's swimming time, and there's a lot less people around. And if you take out the stress of having a lot of people and a lot of boats and having to get into a port and there's no space anywhere, that helps out a lot. If you are free in May and you're looking to charter something, we have our Sharpen Up Flotilla. I'll get someone on the 45 team to post in the chat now the link to our Sharpen Up Flotilla that's running on, I think, the 13th to the 20th of May, this coming I'm just watching our boat turn around this coming season. And that is a good way to get into it because you charter your own boat. I help you through the check-in process, set you up with a good boat, and then you can follow our routes around and learn the maneuvers as you go. And you've always got that support from me on my lead yacht. Those are booking up fast. I think we've got 2 charter boats left to book on that. But something like a Hunter 388 that we've got on offer is a really nice size, got a bow thruster, single rudder, easy to maneuver. I can get into that with you if you want to get in touch with us. And there's the link. Thank you very much, team. The area-wise, coming out of Castella, Trogir area, there's not a lot of things that can trip you up as far as like reefs and things like that. The Cornati further north is a beautiful area, and there's a lot of places to go, but there is a lot more hazards around. Generally less boats though. If peak season, I'd say the Cornati's nicer in that sense. So that's where I'd go with that one. Gavin's just said, if you're looking to book a charter yacht in Croatia, make sure you book it through Nick. The service is fully awesome. Thank you very much, Gavin. I really appreciate that. And yes, and that's part of our service we do, helping you navigate this whole situation, is making sure we set you up with the best possible charter company, ones to avoid. Oh, that's part of Meros' question, is what to avoid. I'll get to that. And yeah, what's going to serve you and your crew best for that week, not just, hey, here's a deal and I get a really good percentage on it or anything like that. And remember, it doesn't cost you anything extra. If you do want to pay extra for more service, we have our concierge service, which that's food prepping and itinerary planning, all that sort of stuff. But anyway, so what should we avoid booking? Okay, what should you avoid booking? That's a bit of a tough question, and it depends on who you are. I would avoid booking. That's a really hard one to answer. I'd avoid booking a yacht that is beyond your ability. I mean, there's a lot of 50-foot yachts around, 45-foot yachts, but that's a big boat if you're coming from 30 feet. I would avoid booking over 50 feet because the jump from 42 or whatever it is to 55 is a big ass jump. So possibly I'd suggest avoiding that. But as far as avoiding boats themselves, avoid booking catamarans, but that's just my personal opinion. I want you to book catamarans. I want you to go and have fun on a catamaran if that's what you're doing. I'll think about that one. And I might come back to it in another live stream. But I don't really think there is avoid booking this boat. It's really about your level, what you're looking to do with it. I would say if you're new, here we go. If you're new, avoid booking a really wide boat, like something like for instance, the Hansa 460. This is a 46-foot yacht with an almost 5-meter beam. Like, it's a really wide yacht. What we're on right now is really wide. And when it comes to backing into gaps in the marina or onto docks, and you're new at this, that's a big ask to get into a spot. So I would say avoid really wide boats in that sense. But that's mainly it. That's all I've really got for avoid. Winnie, what training courses, e.g. ASA, qualifications, proof of experience is needed to be able to charter a sailboat in Croatia? Thanks. Okay, so we have a list. I'll ask the team to post. There's our page for yacht charter. If they can page our yacht charter in Croatia, paste a link to yacht charter in Croatia page with 45 degree sailing. Down there is a link that lists all of the accepted licenses from each countries. Okay, it's just about halfway down the page, and you can see all of the licenses accepted. But basically, you need to have one of the licenses on this list and a VHF operator certificate. You must also have a VHF license to do this. Some yachts will require you to also submit a sailing CV. So if you're looking at something bigger, maybe like basically 55-foot monohulls up or 44-foot catamarans and up, they'll ask you to submit a sailing CV, and they will not. They reserve the right to not rent you something if you're thinking of break it. Those are big boats, and they've got a lot of weight. And if someone's got, you can receive an RYA commercially endorsed yacht master, the same license I have. You can receive that on a 37-foot boat, right? You can do all of these experience, all of this maneuvers, and prove yourself on a 37-foot boat. And you come here with that commercial license, which technically allows you to sail up to 1,000 tons, and you've never parked a boat over 37 feet. So that's why they definitely say, right, you must have a sailing CV. We want to see your, for those bigger boats. Not all of them. You go to some of the big, like Zero to Hero charter companies, they're like, yep, let's do it. Here it is. Put down your 5,000 euros and let's go. But that's, yeah, something to consider there. But it's hard for me to list out. The easiest way to say what's the best, easiest license to have is an ICC power, sail and power up to 24 meters. So an international certificate of competence. If you've got an RYA day skipper, you can go to the RYA and say, hey, can I have an ICC out of this? But the day skipper will be accepted as well with a VHF license. So that's what you need. But I'll make sure I get that page pasted in the notes. I'll even look it up here if I'm not sure the team knows exactly what I'm referring to. But it's this one here. Oh, they've already pasted it. It was the last one they pasted. So no, fail, Nick. So yeah, if you go to that page, and I'm just scrolling down, it says, what is a bareboat charter? And then on the right-hand side, is your sailing license accepted in Croatia? Click this, check this list here, and that will take you to a PDF listing all of the ones. And that is the list that the charter companies use here in Croatia. So make sure you've got one of the licenses on that list. And what I often do, especially if you're booking with us, I say, right, send me your license. Send me a PDF of your license and your VHF certificate. I'm going to send, if there's any query as to do you accept this, even if it's on the list, I don't want you showing up and going, oh, no, that's not okay. We want to prepare you as best possible. We send it to the charter company, and I have them in email writing, accept that license. And then you're good. As long as you bring the original, you must carry the original with you on the boat. You must show the originals at check-in counter, or they cannot legally let you take the boat. Okay, so yeah, who we got there? Spidos Sinas. I hope I hang on. Let me see if I can think about Croatian Greek down there. Spidos Sinas. Please tell me if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Greetings from Greece. Thank you very much for being here. Greetings from Croatia. So if there is not any other questions, throw them down. Great, there we go. Thank you, Spiros. Throw down the questions. I'm going to help my crew because we're coming into a new anchorage for them. I've been keeping an eye out, but they haven't been in here before. We're coming in the hours of darkness. So that's good. They've got all our nav lights on. They've got 2 lookouts. They're doing great. They're doing absolutely great. We're going to come in and anchor in this spot. So I'll give you give you a minute to throw any other questions down that you've got. Otherwise, please look out for our next live stream, which is coming up next week, January 13th, which is part 3 of this Croatia Yacht Charter Tips, which is pros and cons of booking your charter through an agent online or direct through a charter company. So to be very clear, I'm an agent. I'm not a charter company. So what's the pros and cons to booking through an agent or an online agent or directly through the charter company? Loving the silhouette behind you. Yeah, not bad. Actually, I'll show you the background once more. It's pretty pretty. Yeah. So that's coming up next week. And if you have questions pertaining to that, we'll put the live stream up in the next couple of days. So you can put your questions, pre-questions on that video in the live chat, which would be great because it's always good to have more questions to answer on the spot. So thank you very much for joining us. Please remember to like this video that you're watching now, and throw your comments down in, because even in the live section of the comments, if once it finishes, throw a comment on the actual video so that other people can see, like, hey, this was good because, or whatever like that. I'd love you guys to do that. Thank you. Gavin, loving the new weekly format. Excellent. I'm stoked about that. And I'm stoked that internet in Croatia is so freaking awesome that I'm able to do this while I'm out on the water. I'm just looking for my last speed test I did because it was off the charts. It was like 200 megabytes download. Anyway, so thank you very much. Remember to subscribe to the channel and share these weekly ones to anyone that might be out there needing these. So thank you so much. No more new questions have come in. I'm going to go help these guys out and about to get what? Oh, okay. I've just been told there's a good silhouette coming up, so I'm not allowed to shut down yet. I love this team. This is the entrance. So actually, this opens up. You can go that way and then out there to open Adriatic. And there's a wire, a power wire. I'm not sure if you can make it out. There's a couple of dots in the sky for the helicopters, but there's a power wire that runs across there. If you're in a big yacht, you've got to check the height of that. It looks really high. It is pretty high, but check that on your charts. But yeah, that's a pretty nice silhouette. I'll get my mug out of it. There we go. Very, very nice. Happy anchoring. Thanks, Gavin. All right, I'm going to sign off. I've said that enough times now, so I'm going to go. Thank you so much for joining us. See you next week.